talk more about this is Dr. Amesh Adalja, a senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Dr. Adalja, it's always great to see you. Thanks for being here again. We know that we can't contain this virus until people across the globe are vaccinated. And this J&J vaccine has had so much promise in terms of especially getting it to lower income countries. It can travel more easily than some of these other vaccines. How are we going to offset this and fix it?
It's going to be extremely challenging. And the longer this pause continues in the United States, the harder it's going to be to restart. And this is, like you said, an essential vaccine. It is something that it's a single dose, one and done, doesn't have onerous storage requirements. And we're already seeing a cascading impact on what's happening here in the United States with delays in Europe now. We've heard that Australia is not buying this vaccine and South Africa is not going to use it. So this is going to be something that's really challenging. We've got a lot of vaccine hesitancy. This is on top of the AstraZeneca vaccine kind of faltering in a similar manner. And I think we really have to think of the big picture when we make these types of decisions, because there are cascading negative impacts, and the general public isn't very good at making risk-benefit calculations, and they're going to remember negative headlines and not remember how extremely rare these side effects are.
I know it's a good point. Can you talk to us a little bit about how the AstraZeneca vaccine and the J&J vaccine are similar to each other and different in category from the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines?
So both the AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccines use a whole different vaccine technology, something called an adenovirus. So those are common cold-causing viruses. Everybody has had one. What they've basically done is engineered adenoviruses to harbor the coronavirus spike protein and deliver that spike protein to your cells. So the spike protein is what's important for immunity. That's what all the vaccines target on the virus. But they do it in a different way. Moderna and Pfizer basically take the gene, the mRNA, the messenger RNA, the sequence of that protein, and give you that directly into your body. So there's a totally different way that this is happening. So because AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson use the same technology, and they seem to both be able to cause this side effect in very, very extreme situations, very rare circumstances, people are hypothesizing that it could be this carrier, that the carrier is generating antibodies against parts of your blood components that are useful for clotting and setting off this reaction. So it might be something of what we call a class effect. There are other vaccines that use this as well. The Russian vaccine also uses adenoviruses. So we're eager to see if this is something we're seeing in other vaccines using this technology as well.
So while all of that plays out, of course, as you alluded to before, public health officials here are trying to reassure people here. The Surgeon General appeared in the White House briefing room and tried to reassure, say to people, it's going to be fine if this is the shot that you've already received. Let me show you a little bit more of what he had to say, then we'll talk about it.
This is your safety system working for you. We want people to have confidence. The vaccines we are recommending are safe, they're effective, and this is how we do that.
So he's basically saying this is proof that we're being honest with you. If we catch a problem, you will know about it. We will tell you about it. So you should feel safe and good when we do make a recommendation. If they do lift this pause, though, do you think that Americans will be willing to go and get the J&J vaccine, especially if they have the option to get the Pfizer or Moderna one instead?
I think we're definitely going to see vaccine hesitancy with the J&J vaccine. There's already polling to show that. And the same thing happened in Europe with the AstraZeneca vaccine, that there was vaccine hesitancy increase after they lifted their pause. I think it's important to remember that it's not as if the other alternative was to do nothing. I think the CDC and the FDA could have done the same thing, had an investigation, alerted healthcare providers, talked to the general public about this, and continued to vaccinate. And maybe if they were going to do a pause, not make it blanket, make it one that really affected only those people that we think are most at risk, these 18 to 48-year-old women. There could have been a much more targeted approach to do this. And I think you would have probably not lost as many people to vaccine hesitancy is going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think that we are going to see more people shying away from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, thinking of it as a second-tier vaccine. And I think it's going to be unfortunate because I think this is a first-tier vaccine that really is being hit with bad headlines for no fault of its own.
It's interesting when you think about what the alternatives would be. I think we maybe haven't focused on that enough. So thank you for highlighting and underscoring that point. Dr. Amesh Adalja, thank you so much for being with us as always. We really appreciate it.